are visuals from KBR National Park in Hyderabad. Spread over 390 acres, this park is one of the few lung spaces in an otherwise very densely populated part of the city. Over the last few weeks, however, under the banner of Save KBR, several environmental activists have been protesting to save the park. The reason? The Telangana government's H-CITI project, which promises to build 7 flyovers and 7 underpasses. And the result? More protests, more tree felling, and complete chaos. But KBR has a life of its own. Over the years, the park has developed several small communities of dog walkers and nature lovers.
We ourselves have seen a lot of trees which are not really very common in Hyderabad, but which define the Deccan landscape. Trees like mohua, which actually causes intoxication among the tribals in Chhattisgarh. And there are a lot of nature lovers who come just to see the mohua tree when it's blooming and when the fruits fall down.
I would say that KBR is, I call it my daily heaven.
Okay.
And I call it my second home. Like many walkers here, I'm not the only one.
And I make sure that I pass through these roads for only one reason, that is the fresh air that I get here, the vibe, the roads which has the pavement trees around, and that gives me a really good vibe. And the temperature here is always 2 degrees lesser than the normal city. So I like to be here for the same reason.
In 2021, 3 activists petitioned the Telangana High Court after the state government started road expansion works around KBR. The High Court ordered a stay on the construction, and things were good for a while. However, in April of this year, the High Court refused to grant an extension of the stay, thereby allowing the Telangana government to proceed with the H-CITI project. Before I tell you what happens next, here's a quick reminder. The News Minute does not take money from corporates or governments. We run entirely on your support. So if you believe ground reports like these matter, scan our QR code to support our reporting fund or become paid subscribers of the News Minute. Start off with something which a lot of people don't understand. What exactly is an eco-sensitive zone?
See, an eco-sensitive zone is like a buffer zone between eco-sensitives, because they're very fragile, and the flora and fauna, right? And national park reserve forests, mostly by default, are entitled to these buffer zones. These buffer zones are the ones that are called eco-sensitive zone, and their role is to, as the name suggests, buffer the reserved forest from the, in our case, the urban impact.
This project is built very closely within the range of the eco-sensitive zone of the park. As you can see, that is the boundary line of the park. Now, when this is being done, the ecology and the wildlife is being disturbed, and also a lot of pollution that is now filtered at the eco-sensitive zone. Now, the park is directly exposed to this.
In 2020, the eco-sensitive zone of the park was reduced from 25 to 35 meters to 3 to 29.8 meters. This reduction harms KBR's wildlife, but that was not the only problem.
They told the state government, you need to have a public hearing, take their objections into consideration, and then get back to us with a fresh proposal.
Sounds good. What's the problem?
So the problem is that while all of us eagerly await the public hearing announcement in popular newspapers, and all of us are very well aware, one fine day, I think it was 27th October 2020, we get to know that the ESZ has been notified and has been reduced, for which we have been fighting for the last 5 years at that point of time.
Okay.
And the public hearing has happened, which was very strange because we were constantly on the lookout for the announcement.
Kajal and a few other activists moved the Telangana High Court to tackle two key problems. One, the lack of a public hearing in determining the eco-sensitive zone, and two, the tree felling caused by the construction around the park. The state's lawyer argued in the court that there was in fact a public hearing which was held. However, here's a twist. Activists allege that there was never any public hearing, and in fact, till date, the state government has been yet to prove in the court that there was ever any hearing. Despite several protests by the Save KBR movement, the state government has not budged. In fact, the movement itself has had problems. Listen to what happened on May 12th when protesters gathered to demonstrate against the tree felling around KBR.
సో దీనిపైన సేవ్ కేబీఆర్ వాలంటీర్స్ అందరము నిరసన తెలుపుతూ శాంతియుతంగా ఇక్కడికి వచ్చి మేము చేతులు పట్టుకున్నాం అన్నమాట.
This protest led to a police detention and subsequent cases being filed on protesters.
వన్ ఆఫ్ అవర్ వాలంటీర్స్ ఎవరైతే ఉండిపోయారో ఆ పోలీస్ వస్తున్నారు కూడా మాకు తెలియదు. ఒకవేళ వచ్చింటే వి వుడ్ హావ్ స్టేట్ బ్యాక్. బట్ వచ్చారు, ఆ ఒకరిని తీసుకెళ్లారు. అది ఇమీడియట్ గా నాకు తెలిసిన వెంటనే నేను బంజారా హిల్స్ పోలీస్ స్టేషన్కి వెళ్ళాను. పోలీస్ స్టేషన్కి వెళ్ళి, సార్ ఇఫ్ దేర్ ఇస్ ఎనీథింగ్ అయి ఉంటే మీరు మాకు నోటీస్ ఇవ్వండి, లేదా మాకు డీటెయిల్స్ తీసుకోండి. ఇట్స్ 3 PM, వి విల్ కమ్ బ్యాక్ టుమారో మార్నింగ్ అని చెప్తే, లేదు మీరు ఉండాలి అని 9 వరకు గంట సేపు ఆగండి, ఎస్ఐ వస్తారు, సిఐ వస్తారు, డిఐ వస్తారు అని మమ్మల్ని వెయిట్ చేయించారు. ఎటువంటి రిలేషన్ లేని వాళ్ళని కూడా దే అరెస్టెడ్ అండ్ దే హావ్ బుక్ కేసెస్ అగైన్స్ దెమ్. So we have 5 of us who have cases against all of us, and only 2 were present on site and 3 had no relation whatsoever as to what happened here.
The Save KBR movement has, however, witnessed a small victory. On May 18, 2026, the Supreme Court granted an interim stay on tree felling around KBR. But the battle is not done yet. The state government is yet to roll back the H-CITI project. What does this mean for KBR, and what does it mean for its protesters? We don't know, but various volunteers of the Save KBR movement have told us that the fight is far from over.